Here today, Steve Fink and Jason Amberg. Far side. Tough act to follow.
All right, a little different setting, huh? I'm Mike Riley, and I appreciate being back here once again to represent Oregon State football, and I'm very proud to bring these two fine young men with me. Markus Wheaton, who plays wide receiver for us, and Jordan Poyer, who plays corner, has covered kicks, returns kicks, and they're two great young men and great football players. So we're excited about heading into 2012. We've had a couple of disappointing years. We're looking for that cycle of life to change back into good things at Oregon State. And I've gotten a very, very good vibe from this team since the end of last year. The work ethic, and the attitude, and I think probably in general just the kind of unified statement that they've made to get ready for the upcoming season has been most impressive. So, we'll head into another year here into what I think is one of the, I've been in the conference a long time now and watched it for many, many years and seen the changes. Actually, when I was a kid, I was in watching the Pac-8 conference with my dad coaching at Oregon State, and then coached in the Pac-10 and now in the Pac-12, and I think it's probably as competitive top to bottom as I've ever seen it. It's really exciting the way the format's been set up, and we're looking forward to going into a new year with new faces and some kind of new programs starting out.
Go ahead and take questions. Fourth row over here on the far left.
Hi, Mike. Tom Fitzgerald, San Francisco Chronicle. Could you describe your quarterback situation at this point with Mannion and Cody Vaz? How exactly is that shaping up going into camp?
Well, I think both Cody and Sean had really good springs. I was very, very excited about the work that they did. And I'm also excited about the teamwork they're showing, working with the rest of the guys, off-season programs, summertime. It appears that they're kind of doing this as a duo, I suppose. But right now, we feel like we have two quarterbacks we can win with in our league. I think that it needs to be defined that Sean is our starter right now, but I really am excited about the growth and the production that Cody Vaz had in the spring. So we'll head into spring or into the fall camp with that status in mind.
We've got a question from the back row in the center.
Hi, Sarah Gazella, Pac-12 Digital. This question can be for all of you. How will the perception of the team brought on by last year's record fuel this team? And I forgot to mention that's from David Elliott. He's a fan. We had Facebook and Twitter questions submitted from fans.
Go ahead, Markus.
Obviously, that 3-9 record hurt us. We look back on it a lot, and it fuels us greatly. We work toward not, obviously doing that again.
It's that taste in our mouth, man.
Yeah.
It hurts. Been there 3-9, and we don't want to feel that again. And we got a lot of experience coming back on the team, and guys felt what that felt like last year. And throughout this offseason, we've put it through guys' heads. We don't want to feel that way again. So let's bust our butt right now, so that in the end, it'll work out for the best.
And our team was pretty young last year with a lot of freshmen playing. So now that they see, what we have to do, what it's like, they know what we have to get done.
Question from the theater seating, about 5 rows up on the left.
Lindsay Schnell, the Oregonian. Mike, can you talk a little bit about the running back situation? Do you want it to be by committee again, or do you think it needs to be one person?
Well, whatever works out, I'd like 1,800 yards mixed in there, Lindsay. That'd be good. I really don't. We've historically been a team that's had Kenny Simonton, Steven Jackson, Evanson Bernard, Quiz Rogers. Had one back, but the one thing I'll say is coming out of spring ball, I thought we had a number of backs that did well, and we'll add I think a good player to that group in the fall camp, and we're just going to let them play for a bit, and then make some decisions as to a starter or co-players or how that works. But I'm serious about the fact that whatever way it works, we have to run the ball better. That has been, in the last 2 years, the biggest problem that we've had. We're going to be able to throw the ball. We got good receivers. I think our defense is going to be much better. And I think one of the main keys to our team is our ability to run the football. It keys everything that we do, throwing, play action passes, all that stuff.
Question in the 5th row in the center.
Mike, what's the status of Stan Hasiak?
Right now, Stan is working in hopefully the final stages to finish what he's got to do in school, Ted.
Additional questions? Up here in the far left, up in the theater seating.
Mike, you mentioned that you believe the defense is going to be good, and obviously the defensive backs bring back a lot of experience. Can you talk about how Rod Perry is going to add to your staff and what he managed to do in spring with that group?
Well, I think Jordan can add to this too, that I do think our secondary will be a strength. I really was impressed with how they played in spring practice, and of course they bring experience and I think smart football players and very, very competitive football players. I think that we've got good depth, particularly at safety, and then with Jordan and Rashad playing corner, I'm very, very excited about that. And Coach Perry, Rod and I coached together with the Chargers, and then I just kind of, when he was coaching with the Colts, and when that thing blew up, when I had an opening, I just kind of took a shot at it and ended up making a very good phone call that ended up in having Rod Perry on our staff. I think I know he's a quality football coach with a ton of experience, but also I think he'll be great mentor for the guys in our program.
In the center, in the back row.
Coach Perry? Yeah,
Coach Perry, I mean, it's amazing throughout the springtime just how much I learned from him. And I mean, that was practicing every other day. You see him all the time. But I'm more excited to see how much I can learn from him throughout a whole entire season. Because like Coach Riley said, he was in the NFL, he coached in the NFL, and now he's coming to coach us. And we were already coached pretty well with Coach Hayward, but Coach Perry, he brings so much more to the table. The knowledge of the game. I've already learned so much from him, and like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited for him to coach our group of guys, because our group of guys are very competitive. Whether it's in the weight room, whether it's on the field, whether it's playing dominoes or something. We're all a competitive group, and Coach Perry definitely brings out the best of us, and so. I'm excited to work with him throughout this season.
All right, we'll go to the center in the back row.
All right, this question's for Markus Wheaton. You got your big break in Corvallis when James Rogers unfortunately went down a couple of seasons ago. But now that he's gone for good, how much of an impact did he have on the way you play and will help you lead the receiving corps going forward?
First off, I just want to help be a leader to these guys. I want to take on that leadership role. It's really not just me by myself. We have a strong receiving core. So working together, we will get it done. And in the backfield, we depending on who our running back is, we do have three great guys competing for a spot. So our offense will be strong.
Okay, down here on the left, third row, left center.
Mike, this is Bob Condotta at the Seattle Times. Just in looking back at Scott Crichton and what he did for you last year, you surprised at all by the production he ended up giving you, and just kind of where he, now he's getting an awful lot of national attention, even as kind of a real defensive star.
I wouldn't say I was surprised. You never really you see the talent, and you know the capability there, and of course we had redshirted him. And so I watched him all year on the scout team and knew what was there. But then the fact comes, can he bring it to the games and produce like that? And he is talented. And the thing I like about Scott Crichton and Dylan Wynn, both of them freshman defensive ends, they both improved their numbers dramatically, speed, strength in the offseason. So I appreciate that work ethic from two guys that did pretty well as freshmen, and I think that's kind of been what I've seen as a kind of an identity of this group in general. I think Scott is a real good example of that, just continuing to grow.
We'll go back to the back row in the center.
Sarah Cazell again, Pac-12 Digital. We have another fan question from Facebook. Coach, this can be for you. Who has impressed you most in the offseason as far as maturation and improvement from the fall?
Oh, man, that's really a difficult question because I think that's what our team has had to be, is growth, right? But I would say one guy, and I'd be interested to see if these guys agree, but we have a receiver, played a little bit as a freshman last year, named Obum Gwacham, that really had a good spring, an interesting spring. So I'm excited to see if he can bring that to the table, because he impressed me with his improvement a lot during spring ball.
I agree also. That's exactly who I was about to say, Obum. He stepped into the R spot, and he's doing a great job. He's making plays. He made a couple good plays last year during the season, and he'll definitely be a big playmaker this year.
He also had a pretty good spring high jumping. He went to the national meet in Austin, and 7 foot plus guy, and he's about, what is he, 6'5"?
6'6".
6'6". So he's an interesting guy. I'm excited about that receiving core.
Up on the left in the theater seating.
Mike, what kind of jump are you expecting from Sean Mannion this year? Markus said he's turned into more of a vocal leader this offseason too.
Well, these guys know that probably more than me, because they're with them in the summertime a lot. But you know what? He's been an interesting guy to study in this offseason, because from the minute that season was over, he was on the film, and then he was out throwing with these guys early on, and then they all got together and kept doing that, and then spring practice, and I know they started it in the summertime again, and so if work ethic and desire plus talent have anything to do with improving, then he's showed all the ingredients to take a good jump. And he had 3,000 yards as a freshman with a team that really didn't run the ball very well. So I'm very interested and optimistic and excited to see this group go, because if we can indeed get some running game going, and then just be more efficient a little bit at that position, not take as many sacks, and just a couple better decisions with the football. It's very interesting to me. I'm looking forward to it.
Fifth row on the far right.
Hi, Coach. Lisa Horn, Fox Sports. You played under Bear Bryant at Alabama, and I'm just wondering two things. Number one, what sort of life lessons did you learn from Bear Bryant? And number two, do you think Alabama is on a roll for a long time, or like everything else in football, do you think it's just cyclical?
Well, I think I appreciate much more right now my time at Alabama or realized more about what I got out of it than when I was actually in it. And I think that the one thing that I wanted to always bring from that program that Coach Bryant had to our team was he was fair. You know, I wasn't a very good player. I didn't play much, but I got treated right. You know, so I always wanted to have every guy in our program feel that way, whether or not he was Markus Wheaton or a guy that was working on the scout team. That's what I wanted in a program. And that's probably funny coming from a program like that, but that's a thing that for me impacted me and what I would like to do. You know, besides that, it was a tremendously well run. It was an interesting program to be in, and there was so many kids from the state of Alabama on that team, and there was so much pride in that team. I mean, getting to be especially if you were from Alabama, getting to play for the Bear was a big deal, and I had cousins on the team, so that impacted me. And yes, I think I think they're on a roll, but yes, I think it's cyclical. I think you look at our world, and nobody stays on top forever. Now that doesn't mean they won't be in the top 10, but I think. And that's what I think about our world right now. We're cyclical. I mean, I've coached 37 years now, so I've seen a lot of peaks and a lot of valleys, but I still feel that freshness every time you come in, and that's what just absolutely keeps me totally invigorated in this work, is that each team can set their own identity. It doesn't have to be like it was, or if it was good, you can make it better if you have that right approach. So that's what we're looking forward to.
We'll take one more question up at theater seating in the center.
Thank you. Coach Riley, I'm wondering how much Oregon's emergence as a national power has kind of complicated your life, or is it kind of militating against the idea of the Civil War being cyclical?
Well, obviously they're doing a great job, and I think that like USC did, what was it, 8, 9 years ago, Oregon has raised the bar. They've raised the bar for us in the state, and they raised the bar for people in the conference. And SC did that. I think I watched it, and we were part of it. You either were at that time when SC was going so strong, you either had to get going and get up with it or get left way in the dust. And I thought everybody got better through that, and I think that that's where we are in our state with Oregon right now, and frankly, other teams in the conference with Oregon are like that now.
All right, that'll do it. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.